Good day to you, child of God. This is the Remnant Seed Bible Study channel. Welcome. It's been a little while since I've done a video. I've been going through the ABCs of Christianity, the books of Kings and Chronicles. And I want to do one today on Isaiah 18 and the mention. I believe Isaiah 18 is mentioning the United States of America in this time of that we celebrate our independence. This is actually the day after, on the 5th of July. Beloved, there are many, I listen to countless preachers and teachers and so-called prophets and people that teach God's Word. And almost universally, they say that America is not mentioned in the Bible. And beloved, I believe our God would be remiss if he didn't mention the greatest nation that ever existed on the earth. I mean, why would he not mention America? I mean, look at what America does throughout the world, what we have done in our past. Not anymore. Our government has completely gone rogue. Okay? But this is the original intent of the founding fathers, is found a nation based on the principles of God and the Bible. That's why our founding fathers came over here, was freedom to practice their Christianity in the way that they wanted. And no other nation in history has ever been founded the way in which America was founded. And I believe it was God's providence. I believe America is part and parcel of the new regathered Israel. I believe many of the 12 tribes of Israel are here in America. And we're part of the Abrahamic covenant. God said that he would bless those who bless America and curse those who curse America, or Israel, or the 12 tribes of Israel, wherever God's people went. And also the Gentiles. Bless the Gentiles. If they believe in Jesus Christ, you fall into the same. We're all in the same boat. There's no difference between the Israelite and the Gentile. So America is the home, the land of the land of the free and the home of the brave, and the land of the Gentile and the land of the Israelite. We're all in this together. And 2024, I believe, is going to be one of the most consequential years in American history. I'm going to go down and say that. We have seen so many things go down in our nation that you can hardly even recognize America anymore. And I see this as a battle between good and evil. The devil is actively engaged in trying to take America out. Make no mistake about it. This is a battle between good and evil. And you see the sides dividing up. Our nation is split like it's never been split before in all of our history. People are just absolutely crazy anymore. You can't even talk to people about politics. You can't talk about religion. You can't hardly speak about anything. Everybody's offended. We're on the verge of a civil war. We're on the verge of a world war. Beloved, there's never been a time in history like this for America. We're a very young nation, but yet we are in great peril right now. And so I just want to bring this out to give God's people some type of foundation of your heritage, which is being stolen away right now. It was prophesied by Isaiah 2,600 years ago. He spoke of this nation. He spoke of it without a name, but beloved, the Lord knew that America would come into existence from the very beginning, from the foundations of the world. He knew everything about us. He knew the name. He knew what our symbol, the eagle, would be. He knew what our flag would be. Everything about America was known by God beforehand. All right, let's get into it. So Isaiah 18 is the text. Now I'm going to go over a short synopsis of it, and then I'm going to show you how the way in which I document this. Okay, so let's go to Isaiah 18:1. Woe, and I believe the word woe should be translated hey. And there are many just saying hey to the land shouting with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. And I'm going to show you how you get your center of geography here as you're looking from Ethiopia. And this is where you get your geographical location from, and how this is pointing to America and from the point in which it's pointing from. That sendeth out ambassadors by the sea, even the vessels of bulrushes upon the water, saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled. And I believe this simply means tall and clean shaven, to a people terrible from their beginning, hitherto. And we've never lost a war. We have been terrible from our beginning. And look, right from the beginning, we took to task England, and kicked her literal behind out of this nation right when we were being born. And there's no other nation that can fill this type of prophecy. A nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled, measured out state by state. Beloved, I want to give you a little visual of this. I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to do this. Meted out and trodden down. Okay? Now, I'm going to move this chair over here a little bit. So what do when you meet out and you trod down? Okay, let me just show you this. I'm trying to do this without messing my camera up too bad here. I'm just going to put this in my hand. So what do? Watch my feet. Okay, you meet out and trod down with your feet. Now, have you ever seen anybody measure a piece of land? Now, pardon me here, beloved. I just wanted to give you that visual. Have you ever seen somebody, even like football in football games, okay? You see the guy measure out the yardage. He walks down the field and meets out and trods out the amount of yardage for a penalty. And this is saying the same thing. This is how America was meted out and trodden down with your feet. In other words, if you see all the states, the lines of the states, they're meted and trodden down. They're meted out. They're surveyed. And I'm going to go further into this, how this is done by surveyors from the North Star, which was ordered by our government in the way that America was measured out. And this is uncanny, beloved. This is like unreal. This is so specific to America. No other nation, you're not going to see any other nation meted out and trodden down like America. The lines, the borders of our states, the way the counties, everything is measured. Even your own lot. Okay, lot, the word lot. Okay, that comes from the Hebrew. It's a lot. It's measured out and trodden down. And then no other prophecy would fulfill this, beloved. It's just let you know that this is America. All right, all ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see ye when he lifteth up an ensign on the mountains. This is our flag. And when he bloweth the trumpet, hear ye. Okay, and you better listen when America stands up and blows the trumpet. All the nations, they listen, because America's the number one superpower of all times in history. For the Lord said unto me, I will take my rest, and I will consider my dwelling place like a clear heat upon the herbs, and like a cloud of the dew in the heat of harvest. The Lord still rests here in the hearts of his people. For afore the harvest, when the bud is perfect and our sour grape is ripening in the flower, he shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks and take away and cut down the branches. The Lord's blessed us and kept us, and he's also chastised us, okay? He takes the pruning hook to us every now and then. And he'll do the same to you in your life. You get out of line, he's going to take them shears and prune all that dead wood out of your life and then turn you around. They shall be left together unto the fowls of the mountains and the beasts of the earth, and the fowl shall summer upon them, and the beast of the earth shall winter upon them. In that same time shall be the present be bought unto the Lord of hosts of a people scattered and peeled, and from a people terrible from their beginning, a nation meted out, trodden down underfoot, whose land the rivers have spoiled. Okay, now you just look at the great Mississippi, and this land is being quartered and divided by rivers. To the place of the name of the Lord of hosts, the Mount Zion. And the Lord still dwells here, beloved. There is no doubt this is speaking about America. And God bless America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Now let's get into this a little bit more. America is mentioned more than 100 times in the scriptures, if you know where to look, beloved. It is in part where the 12 tribes of Israel was to migrate to, and all the peoples of the earth. This is a refuge for all Christians of the earth, which would be their land, and they would no more move. And you can look at reference to this in Samuel 7:10 and 1 Chronicles 17:9. Yahweh has given America the task of spreading the gospel and goodwill throughout the world from its beginning. We've given more money and time to the rest of the world than any other nation in history, and this is well documented, beloved. This is no accident. You would expect Yahweh to include America in his word to mankind. This chapter in Isaiah is rather obscure. It just kind of pops up out of nowhere, and I believe it's not for all to understand this, beloved. And this is not a salvation issue or anything like that. This is for the deeper Bible scholar and for the people who want to know more about the heritage of America. And Yahweh would be remiss if he didn't include this nation in his prophecy to us. After all, America is the greatest nation in the history of the world, and I'd be more inclined to include it than to exclude it. I believe it is in part of the new regathered Israel, where a lot of the Israelites have came here. We got a bigger population of the house of Israel in America than anywhere in the world. And we also have the old Israel, okay, the original Israel in the Middle East, okay? We got both, okay? Doesn't take away from the original Israel and in its original location, but I believe America is the new regathered Israel also. What other reason will we have for the greatness of this nation? We're part of the original promise to Abraham in the Abrahamic covenant. I'll bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. Okay? The text in Isaiah where the burden of the various nations is given, or as the margin gives it, the oracle concerning Babylon, which is Isaiah the son of Amos, did see. Concerning Moab, concerning Egypt, concerning the wilderness of the sea, and those nations of northern Europe where they have to dike out water in order to till the land, concerning the valley of vision, which is Palestine, Israel, and Tyre. Okay, now let's go into the specifics. A land that had not yet been named. Right in the middle of these nations whose future is prophesied is the circle of known nations of that time. A country described and prophesied that had no name. So this is America's included within this text. And it is in the context of each of the cache of these nations in other sections, but these nations are all named, okay? And America's not. And here's the section devoted to a people in the future who had not yet been named, but America had been named by God, but it just wasn't known yet. And keep in mind, there's no title mentioned, okay? Whereas it is said of Egypt, the burden of Egypt and Tyre, the burden of Tyre, there follows a description of a land that had no name because it had not yet been discovered and it had not yet been named. Okay, just because it hasn't been, America hadn't been named doesn't mean this isn't referring to us. Okay? All right, now, a land, I want to, a land shadowed with wings. Now I want to show you what I believe this is referring to, and it's referring to America. And this is just saying, hey, you, the land shadowed with wings. And here are your examples of this terminology. Psalm 17:8, Psalms 36:7, Psalms 91:1, Psalms 57:1, and many other places in Psalms. Okay, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in the water-driven vessels upon the water. Okay, saying, go ye swift messengers, unto a nation tall and smooth, a people terrible from the beginning onward, a nation that meeteth out by line and trotteth down, whose land the rivers quarter, that are divided by rivers in fourths. All ye inhabitants of the world, and ye dwellers of the earth. When an ensign is lifted up on the mountains, see ye, and when the trumpet is blown, hear ye. In the time to the present shall unto Yahweh of hosts. Okay, and from a people tall and smooth, even from a people terrible from their beginning onward, a nation that is meeteth out and trodden down, whose land the rivers quarter, to the place of the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Mount Zion. Where a passage is translated without the translator knowing its meaning, you can expect to find faulty translations in the rendering, both the words and the context. Beloved, I want to make sure you understand this. The translators didn't know, the translators of the King James and a lot of these newfangled translations didn't know this at the time, but it was obvious to God. God knew it, okay? Now that's all I'm saying. The translators didn't know it, but it was known to God, okay? All right, and the first word is not a good translation, woe. It's just not, okay? It should be translated hey. And the word hoy, which the chapter opens, is not an exclamation of woe, but a hailing for attention, ho, or even hey. It's just saying, hey, pay attention to what I'm going to say. It's the same sense as the 55th chapter of Isaiah. Ho, everyone that thirsteth. And the whole point of the chapter shows that it should be translated in the same way here. Okay? Instead of woe, should be translated hey. The nation described is not the one that is meted out and trodden down. Here the tense is wrong. It's better translated in the Revised Version and properly rendered that meeteth out and trotteth down. It is not scattered and peeled, but spread and polished, or tall and clean shaven, or furbished. It is the land that the rivers have not spoiled, but divided or quartered. You see how important this is? Now read the text with the characteristics of the current America in mind. Also keep in mind, Yahweh knew the name of America before it was ever named, and he also knew the characteristics of the people of America and where it would be located beforehand. This is what is the symbol of America? Ho, the land shadowed with wings, or literally, with outstretched wings, and I believe this is the eagle. And what does this really mean? And the rendering, many commentaries on in reading Many commentaries on this subject, there's no way this is speaking of Egypt. Period. America is the only nation started by Christians, and even its legal tender bears the name of the term "In God We Trust." And we truly live under the shadow of the Almighty God. And this is so true. No other nation could fit this. It is claimed by one or two commentators that the expression may refer to the winged dye, which is the symbol of the authority in Egypt. You can see it carved upon the monuments in the temples in the present time. It symbolized authority in days gone by. Hence, the Doré version of the Roman Catholic Bible interprets wings as the winged disc, but Egypt is not the nation that is spoken of here. There's no way this is that Isaiah 18 is speaking about Egypt. And true, Egypt is a base nation, and this was promised by God. They would always be in existence, but it's rather insignificant in modern in modern times. It does not send ambassadors by the sea or waters, and its list of ambassadors is very limited, and it may be represented in the United States and England, and in the same leading countries, but it certainly doesn't have ambassadors all over the world. So there's really no way Isaiah 18 is referring to Egypt, beloved. Only the United States fits this. We send ambassadors all over the earth. We got ambassadors all over the world now. And the reason why we have ambassadors all over the world is because unto whom much is given, much is required. And America is fulfilling her duty as the leading nation of the world by sending these ambassadors all over the world to promote goodwill, peace, and goodwill to all men, beloved. Now, Dr. George D. Watson of California once wrote, it is a singular fact that this term "whole" to the land of constructed of outstretched wings, expressing shelter for the oppressed, cannot be applied to any other nation on the face of the earth. In the prophet's vision, he saw a nation arise in the west, a power having a mission of service, but had no name. So he had to describe it as the land of outstretched wings. It was by divine providence that the eagle was selected as the emblem of the United States, as a nation, and there's no and there is a deep truth hidden under the symbol that America should be in the providence of God, and a land that should serve as a refuge to Egypt, to Israel, and all the people of the earth. The downtrodden, the mistreated people of all of the earth have always been welcome in America, beloved. And the eagle is symbolic with its outstretched wings, like a mother bird gathering her brood under her wings. It was to have a government for the protection of all God's people, Gentile and Israelite. A land of religious liberty and freedom of conscience, and a land that would welcome to its shores the downtrodden and the suffering people scattered abroad the face of the earth. We bless others because we have been blessed, and we dwell under the shadow of the Almighty Yahweh. When the leading French statesman made his address to welcome President Wilson in the city of Paris, he spoke of Mr. Wilson as being the representative of the nation that stretched out his wings abroad for the protection of Europe. And Clemenceau unwittingly used the very words of Isaiah 2,600 years before this, and probably knowing nothing of Isaiah's prophecy. And isn't that ironic? But so accurate was the fulfillment of prophecy that in describing the conditions, he had to use the very words of Isaiah's inspired production, or prediction, better said. What is our national emblem? It's the eagle with outstretched wings. Look at your quarters, okay, your half dollars or silver dollars, and see the spread wings. Everywhere you go in the United States, you're going to see this symbol. And the Hebrew is very clear: the land of outstretched wings, or shadowing with wings, as the Revised Version. And you have to refer to the Psalms, the verses that I gave you in the beginning of this lesson. While other countries have the eagle in their national emblem, no other country has the eagle with outstretched wings. Mexico has the eagle with closed wings. Germany, an eagle with closed wings and a double head. Australia has an eagle, but there again has closed wings. The United States has an eagle with spread wings. It is actually a land shadowed with wings. And I believe the deeper meaning of this is referring to the Psalms, that we are under the shadow of the Almighty, meaning we are in the shadow of His wings. We are under the authority of God. We submit to the Lord. And this is the deeper meaning of this. America has always been in submission to God, but beloved, this is changing rapidly right now. We are coming in under the shadow of the devil right now. The evil is literally taken over this nation. And we got to do something about this before America is completely taken over. Go over the geographical location, and this is very important, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Beyond in Hebrew means west. When we look at a map, the top is north, the bottom is south, the right is east, and the left is west. Not so with the Jews or the Asians. They faced the sunrise. They looked eastward. Before meant east. Behind or beyond meant west. His right hand points to the south and his left to the north. Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia meant over his shoulder, west. Imagine Isaiah standing in Jerusalem facing the sunrise and describing the land beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, and it will run north over Africa, due west until you hit America. And you're going to run into the coast of South Carolina and Georgia, which are due west from Jerusalem. Make no mistake about this, beloved. This is talking about America. Now, this gives you your center of gravity here. This gives you the location this is being spoken about, and this is the location from which Isaiah was looking. This prophecy was not spoken of Egypt or any other part of Africa, but to the nation that was west of Africa. So this cannot be, Asia or Europe is not the object of this location. Definitely the United States. And you have your center of gravity right there. Okay, now let's talk about the ocean vessels. The sendeth out ambassadors by the sea, or water-drinking vessels upon great waters. Okay, the word ambassadors means men who travel in business for the government. They represent a nation, and they represent goodwill and peace toward that nations, and which is the genuine interest of the original America. We wanted goodwill and peace, and we wanted to promote Christ in all the world. Okay, this is what an ambassador does. You are an ambassador of Christ. America is an ambassador of Christ. There's a deeper meaning to this. Okay, now below is one of the worst translations in the King James Version, because really, even in this translation in 1611, they didn't know, what a steamship was, or a vessel that drank water, okay? They had no idea what it meant, so they looked around at something that grew out of the water and guessed bulrushes or cattails. or flags of papyrus, but these are plants, not vessels. Okay? Dr. Cummings, a competent Hebrew scholar, says a water drinking vessel is a steamboat. All right? And now we have the modern version of a steamboat, which is nuclear powered submarines and all the modern versions of a ocean going vessel. Okay, now this is a much better description than a bulrush. Here is a prophecy about America, which had a striking fulfillment in 1917 and 1918, when America sent over 2.5 million people across the ocean, even in water drinking vessels or steamships, upon the great waters across the Atlantic, on business for the government to defeat an ambitious tyrant and to protect other nations. Only one nation can fulfill this prophecy. Now we got a description of the American people, a nation tall and smooth, literally tall and clean shaven, or tall and peeled. Okay? And the translation uses the word peeled instead of clean shaven. The prophet had a vision of men tall like trees with the bark peeled off, but the best translation available is tall and clean shaven. When Columbus came over here and found a tall and smooth people, the natives were the tallest race on earth, and they didn't have any beards. In the late war, America raised and equipped an army of 3 million soldiers at home and abroad, and those soldiers engaged more feet and inches in height than any other similar army ever put together on earth. Just meaning that this army was tall and clean shaven, and they were on average the tallest men of any army in history. And what a perfect description. Now, our history to a people terrible from the beginning. Did you ever hear of an infant getting up and beating its mother in the process of being born? Wouldn't you call that terrible from its beginning, like the way we conquered England and shoved their rear ends out of here? And this is what the United States did, and it whipped the mightiest nation of the known world in the process of being born. And this cannot apply to any other nation in the history of the world. Look at our past. We've never been conquered in war, and we've never been conquered by anything other than Mystery Babylon, which is happening right now. We're being conquered from within. Isaiah stands in vision and sees an unconquerable people. We fought with England, Mexico, and other people in the world, with Spain and Germany, and never lost a war. And the Revised Version says terrible from the beginning and onward. But the original states onward to the end. Okay? We're never going to be conquered, I believe, beloved, from without. But from within, it's very possible. Now we got the Medes and the Bounds Act. A nation meeteth out and trodden down. And I gave you a literal description of this earlier, beloved. And I will leave this here. Okay? And about this time, Florida and Louisiana were taken into the Union, and Ohio taken in as a state, and the government passed a law that all public land should be surveyed by the North Star, and a baseline run east and west, and all this land cut up into mile square sections. And these were surveyed, okay? Our maps like a checkerboard. These sections are subdivided into quarter sections and a half-mile square, which is the amount of land allotted to our soldiers and sailors for homesteads. No nation was or has ever been meted out and blocked before. Okay, now this is a very significant thing. All countries of the earth in division of the land under Joshua surveyed and marked their land by local boundaries. If you buy a lot or an acre in England today, your description will begin in a rock or a tree or a corner of a barn or a fence or something like that. Never meted out or surveyed as the center point from the North Star. For the first time in history, America the American government found a new way of meting out land by general survey, by measurements according to ranges within the North Star. All land in America from the western edge of Pennsylvania to the Pacific Ocean and from Canada to Mexico has been surveyed by lines measured and staked off in sections and quarter sections. The state of Florida came into the Union about 1845 after the law of general surveys had been passed, thus surveyed in sections. In Texas, which also joined the Union in around 1845, is marked off in squares. And there are still some of the star houses around, which were sections of land that were given to the surveyors for their work instead of money. Okay, now quartered by rivers. Now this is one of the worst translations here too. The old version says, whose land the rivers have spoiled. The margin says, despise, okay? And I can't even read. I need my glasses, beloved. My vision's getting bad. The revised version is better, whose land the rivers divide. But the Hebrew word is the term used in the ritual of sacrifice where an animal is being hung up and divided into 4 quarters. The knife cuts right down from the head to the foot and then across, dividing it into 4 parts. This word should have been rendered quartered into quarters. Is there any land on the earth in Europe, Asia, Australia, anywhere in the world that is quartered by rivers? There's not an ancient map or a modern one of the world that will show such as the United States. In other words, the United States is unique, and this is a unique prophecy of a land that is quartered by rivers. Okay, the Mississippi River takes its rise near the Canadian border, cuts right down the Gulf to the Gulf of Mexico, dividing our land into halves. On the western coast is the Columbia River. Follow it upward to its junction with the Snake River. Follow that upward into the close proximity with the source of the Mississippi, which starts in Montana and meanders eastward into the Mississippi, dividing the West into halves. Okay, follow the Ohio eastward to the Pittsburgh and its junction with the Monongalia that runs to McKeesport, and then follow eastward to I butcher in that, beloved, you see the name there, where at Glencoe, Pennsylvania, it becomes the Castleman. Go upstream until Wills Creek branches off and takes its source where the Potomac begins and runs to the Bay and the Atlantic, and you have the eastern half of the nation divided in 2. You can't find any other land on earth divided in this way into 4 sections: northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest by rivers. This is uncanny, beloved. And this can only be applied to the United States. Now look out for America and her military. Now comes a prophetic word more startling than any yet. All ye inhabitants of the world, and ye dwellers on earth, when an ensign is lifted up on the mountains, see ye, and when the trumpet is blown, hear ye. Whenever America displays the flag and sounds the bugle of war, take notice, world. We are a people that has never been conquered. Beloved, there is no other nation on earth that Isaiah 18 applies to. I am thoroughly convinced that the Lord used Isaiah to speak about this, and the land was not named, but it doesn't mean it wasn't speaking about America. And don't let any of these false teachers tell you that America is not mentioned in the Bible. Beloved, it is so blatantly obvious that America is mentioned in the Bible in Isaiah 18. The land of the free, the home of the brave. We've given more money and food and assistance, taking in the downtrodden, the hungry, the mistreated peoples of all the earth, more than any other nation in history. America the beautiful. Beloved, I love this land. America, the home of the free, the land of the brave. We will never back down to any tyrant in all of the world. We are the number one nation that has ever existed in all of the history of mankind. Anyway, beloved, I love you so much, and I do this for you, and we'll see you on the next one.